Okay, let's get right into it because we are looking at a genuine, a truly seismic shift in AI and mathematics.
We really are.
For years, it felt like all the big breakthroughs in reasoning were locked away behind closed doors at, Google or OpenAI.
Right.
But now, an open source model, DeepSeek Math V2, it posted a score of 118 out of 120 on the 2024 Putnam Competition.
And that 118 score, it's not just good, it's completely transformative.
Put that in perspective for us.
Okay, so the highest human score on record for that year's Putnam was around 90. And the Putnam is famously brutal. The median score is usually near zero.
Near zero.
So DeepSeek Math V2 didn't just pass it, it essentially aced it. And then it went on to get a gold medal rating at the 2025 IMO.
I think we need to just sit with that for a second. Acing the Putnam. If the median is zero, that means the brightest math students in the U.S. solved, maybe one problem. And this AI got 11 out of 12.
Exactly. It's not just a better calculator.
No. And the blueprint for it is now public. Apache 2.0 license.
And what's so fascinating is how they did it. It's not just more data, not just bigger computers. It's a fundamental change in how they trained it.
How so?
Well, previous models, LLMs, were often what the researchers call confident liars when it came to math.
Confident liars, I like that.
They're great at finding an answer, but the logical path to get there could be, well, shaky. But they were rewarded for the final answer, so the bad habits got reinforced.
Okay, so DeepSeek did something different.
They intentionally trained it to doubt its own work.
Wow. So the key to AI mathematical genius is structured self-doubt, an internal auditor.
Precisely. They built a system for self-verifiable mathematical reasoning. This is a huge inflection point, moving AI from just, probabilistic guessing to actual verifiable rigor.
So today, let's really unpack that. Let's look at the architecture that allows for this self-correction. Dig into the benchmarks where it just blows past the proprietary models, and then understand the training pipeline that made it all work. Okay, so let's start with that core problem. If traditional reinforcement learning rewards the final answer, and that fails for proving theorems, how did DeepSeek change the game? How did they switch the incentive to prioritize the logic?
It all comes down to understanding what matters in high-level math. It's the proof.
Right. The derivation is the product, not just the number at the end.
Exactly. So traditional RL, by rewarding that final number, creates those confident liars. If a model stumbles onto the right answer with faulty logic, it gets the cookie.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible way to learn rigorous mathematics.
And over a long proof with dozens of steps, that flaw just compounds.
It completely falls apart. So DeepSeek's approach was to build in a constant internal critic. They call it the Generator-Verifier loop architecture.
Two distinct parts.
Two specialized roles, yep. First, you have the proof generator. That's the creative engine. It proposes the whole step-by-step solution.
Okay, so that's the part that does the math.
Right. But the second it finishes, that proof gets handed over to the verifier. And the verifier's only job is to be a critic. It's trained to critique the logic and the rigor of the proof.
And it doesn't care if the final answer looks right.
It completely ignores the final answer. Its entire focus is on the journey, not the destination.
Okay, so that sounds like a feedback loop, but the detail that really matters here, for you listening, is the kind of score the verifier gives. It's not just a thumbs up or thumbs down.
No, and that scalar score is what breaks that confident liar habit. It's not binary. It gives 1 of 3 scores.
Okay.
A score of 1 means the proof is perfect, rigorous, watertight. A 0.5 means the general idea is correct, but the logic is sloppy or has gaps.
So good idea, poor execution.
Exactly. And a 0 means there are fatal flaws. Start over from scratch.
That 0.5 score must be the real teacher then. It forces the model to look past the final answer and really focus on the integrity of all the steps in the middle.
That's it, precisely. Getting a 0.5 on a problem you technically solved is like a peer reviewer saying your conclusion is interesting, but your methodology is a mess. It forces the generator into this loop of self-correction. It has to find its own bugs before it's done.
That's a powerful idea. Okay, let's look at the proof, the benchmark performance. This is where you can really see the separation from the big closed models that don't have this kind of internal audit system.
The numbers are just stunning. We mentioned the Putnam, 118 out of 120. That's territory that was supposed to be for world-class humans, and here's an open-source agent doing it. And the IMO gold medal that shows it can handle the most complex problems designed for the world's best high school students.
But the real architectural advantage, that really shines through on the IMO ProofBench dataset, right? That's where it went head-to-head with models like Google's Gemini DeepThink.
Yes, exactly. A ProofBench basic, so the formal but more foundational proofs. DeepSeek Math V2 got a 99.0% accuracy.
It basically solved the whole data set.
It did. Gemini DeepThink, which is an incredible model in its own right, scored 89.0%. That's a huge 10-point gap, all favoring this open-source architecture built for rigor.
And then things get really interesting on the ProofBench advanced data set, the really complex stuff.
Indeed. On the truly hard proofs, DeepSeek Math V2 was still exceptional at 61.9%. It was basically neck and neck with Gemini DeepThink, which got 65.7%. But here's the key part. Look at the other big proprietary models.
This is without the generator-verifier system.
Right. A model like GPT-5 scored a respectable 59.0% on the basic proofs. But on the advanced set, its performance completely collapsed.
How bad was it?
Down to just 20.0% accuracy.
Wow. And Claude Sonnet 4.
Even worse. 27.1% on basic and a tiny 4.8% on advanced.
So that drop-off, that cliff it falls off of, that points to a systemic problem, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It shows that models trained on, just massive text corpuses and simple rewards fundamentally lack the ability to check their own work over a long, complex chain of logic. The generator-verifier system proves that for true reasoning, that internal audit isn't a nice-to-have. It's mandatory.
So the architecture clearly works, but that brings up the engineering side. How did they actually build this without it collapsing? You mentioned the teacher-student problem, where the generator just gets too smart for the verifier.
Right, that was the big risk. Their solution was this really clever three-stage trading pipeline. Phase 1 was the cold start. They took about 17,000 problems from math contests and had the model generate proofs. Then, and this is key, they brought in human experts to score those proofs for rigor.
So they created a ground truth data set for the first verifier.
Exactly, to set the initial standard of quality.
But that doesn't solve the problem of the generator getting smarter over time.
No, that's where phase 2 meta-verification comes in. This is the coolest part of the whole thing. They realized the verifier itself could start to, hallucinate errors.
Like finding flaws that aren't really there?
Yeah, just to generate a reward signal. So to keep the verifier honest, they trained a second model to review the verifier's review.
A meta-reviewer.
You can think of it like that, yeah. It asked, did the verifier find a real logical mistake, or is it just nitpicking? That process kept the whole system's standards from drifting.
So they taught the teacher how to critique its own critiques. That is really clever. But at some point, humans can't keep up. Labeling gets too slow.
And that's phase 3, scaling compute for self-improvement. Once the problems got to IMO level difficulty, using human experts for everything was just too slow and expensive.
So they automated it.
They automated it. If the verifier was unsure about a really complex new proof,
Right.
they just threw a ton of compute at it. They'd run 64 separate verification analyses on that one proof and take the majority vote as the correct label.
Which creates a self-improving flywheel.
A perfect flywheel. The generator gets better, creates harder problems, and the verifier just scales up compute to keep the quality control tight.
And releasing all of this open source is a huge gift to the research community. This isn't just a model. It's a working blueprint for a logical agent.
Absolutely. For you as a researcher or even just a learner, this is immense. You can now pull apart the verifier and see exactly how a machine learns to spot logical fallacies. This architecture is now the proven design for any high-stakes workflow, not just math. Think about coding, scientific research, legal analysis.
It's a real shift toward what they call RLAIF, right? Reinforcement learning from AI feedback.
But based on objective, logical correctness, not just, does this sound good?
Okay, let's talk about the practical side for a second. This is a massive mixture of experts, or MOE model. For people tracking the tech, why does that make the hardware needs so much heavier?
That's a really crucial point. And MOE model is huge. This one's around 236 billion parameters, but it's sparse. Only a fraction of the parameters are used for any single calculation.
But you still have to load all of them into memory.
You have to load all 236 billion into VRAM at once. And that requires an enormous amount of memory. We're talking enterprise-grade multi-GPU setups, stacks of A100s or H100s to run it at full fidelity.
And for anyone at home,
you're pretty much forced to use something like 4-bit quantization. It works really well, but it's still a heavy lift.
And you can't just prompt it once and get that gold medal result, can you? The paper talks about a method they call sequential refinement.
Right, agent mode. This is so important for actually using it. You don't just ask it to solve a problem. It's iterative. You generate a proof, and then you check its own self-evaluation score.
And if it gives itself a 0.5,
You, the user, have to feed that back in and say, okay, based on your own critique, try again. Refine this until you hit a score of 1.
so the human is basically managing a loop, feeding the flawed output back in until the model finally outputs that perfect score token, the boxed one.
Exactly. And the research showed performance shot way up when they allowed up to 8 of these refinement loops. It takes time and compute, but that's how you get that last little bit of rigor for a perfect score.
All right, let's ground this a little. For all this amazing tech, what are the limitations they acknowledge? Where does it still fall short?
The first one is creativity. It's a master of rigorous, formal proof. But it still struggles with those really hard, open problems that require a creative leap, an intuitive jump that you can't find just by following logical steps.
And the costs.
The cost is a big one. Those headline scores, like the 118 on the Putnam, that required scaled test time compute. They generated 64 different proofs and ran 64 verifications for each one. That's slow and very, very expensive.
And I guess there's still a risk of it being wrong, but confidently wrong.
Exactly. The risk of false confidence. The verifier is still a trained model, and the generator could, in theory, learn to exploit its blind spots. It could write a very convincing academic-sounding proof that has a subtle flaw that its own internal critic just hasn't learned to spot yet.
So the rate of error is way down, but not zero.
Right. The convincing academic lie is still possible. It's just much harder for the model to get away with it.
So to wrap this all up, DeepSeek Math V2 isn't just a faster number cruncher. It's an AI that was built from the ground up to be its own harshest critic. It succeeds because it values the logical journey over the final answer.
And I think we're seeing the definitive shift from what you could call the era of chatbots to the era of reasoners.
From fluency to logic.
Precisely. And the fact that an open source model can now beat 99% of human competitors on the Putnam. It shows that the gap between open and closed research, at least in this domain, is closing fast. The blueprint for verified reasoning is now public.
Which leaves you with a really fascinating thought to chew on. If teaching an AI to be humble, to constantly scrutinize its own work, is the key to unlocking advanced mathematical reasoning, what other complex fields are next? Think about things like drug discovery, or legal compliance, or even generating scientific hypotheses. What could be revolutionized by simply building an agent that is trained to ruthlessly check its own work